CBS Sports HQ brought to you by Die Hard Batteries, available at Advance Auto Parts. I'm Eric Casillas with Jonathan Jones. Let's take a look at the NFC playoff picture, which is pretty interesting because you see there, you got a lot of teams that have clinched divisions. And boy, 3 different teams out of 4, the divisions are spoken for. But it gets interesting with those wild card teams. And the Eagles now in that 7th spot. What jumps off the page to you here, JJ?
It's that 7th spot and who it's going to be, because you look at the 5 and obviously those are figured out in some order with the NFC West. I like the 49ers, the way that they are running the football, the way Jimmy Garoppolo is playing, even though they did just lose that game. They're going to be good enough because of that defense, because of that run game, to win enough down the stretch to be in there. It's that 7th seed. And I really like the Eagles. I think that what we're looking at right here is what it's going to wind up being when you look at who the Eagles have left. They have a Washington football team that's getting absolutely demolished recently. And then you have the Dallas Cowboys there as the finale to the season. And it's not unlike the NFC East for one team to lay down with playoff implications on the line for another. We certainly saw that last season, of course, there in the final week of the season. So I like the way that the Eagles are playing with Jalen Hurts, saying, hey, we don't need him to throw for 300 yards. We just need him to account for something close to 300 yards, and our defense can get the job done on the other side of the football. So as it stands right now, I think that that what we're seeing with the Eagles being there at 7, the Niners there at 6, I think that we're probably going to see that. Maybe flip a couple NFC West teams over there, but who cares about that? I think the 7 teams we have in there will be the 7 teams at the end.
Yeah, I'll second that motion. Niners play Houston this week, and as you mentioned, if you look at Philly, they play Washington, who's pretty decimated right now, and then Dallas. And we've seen with Jerry Jones as their owner/GM, if they have nothing to play for that last week and they're in, he will rest guys and has done it in the past, which would give Philly a big leg up. Now, to the AFC playoff picture, very interesting because you have the AFC North, which is wide open. And we were going through different scenarios. You can make a realistic, it doesn't have to be a crazy case that any one of those 4 teams could still win the division. Plus, you have the Colts, you have the Patriots. It's interesting. What jumps off the page that you hear?
Yeah, similarly, I think the top 6 teams, while they're not as locked in as the NFC, I think that we're going to see those 6 teams. I don't really see a scenario where the Colts or the Patriots are not in the playoffs. I think the Bengals at this point we can say are going to make the postseason. It's that 7th spot, and I just don't trust the Ravens right now. I don't trust that defensive backfield. If I have to trade the Ravens out of that 7th slot per team, it's going to be the Chargers. And, the Chargers just had what may be the worst loss in the NFL this season against the Houston Texans. They had a heartbreaker against the Kansas City Chiefs 10 days before that. But you look at the rest of their schedule. You don't believe in the Denver Broncos. And then you have the Vegas Raiders, who have been up and down all season. They would love to ruin the Chargers' playoff hopes while they may have a minuscule chance themselves there in Week 18. But I think those are 2 winnable games for the Chargers. If they wind up missing the playoffs, we obviously can point to that gigantic loss to the Houston Texans as the main reason why, but I still think they have the easiest path out of all those teams in the hunt, and including the Ravens there in the current 7th spot, as making the playoffs as that final wild card.
It's going to be interesting again because you have that division race, which is going to impact the wild card race over in the AFC. All right, let's take a look and see about the Super Bowl odds and where we are. And man, look at this. Old school, Super Bowl 1, right? Packers Chiefs. Well, you might have a return to that. Might come full circle this year, go all the way back. Bart Starr and the Green Bay Packers. Lenny Dawson, that could be your Super Bowl. The shortest odds of any of the teams left and listed on that board.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.